Good day, I'm Teacher Cel. I'm Celeste de Dios, 25, and from Bulacan State University. Today, I'll be reading a story about Hansel and Gretel. This book is for ages 4 to 8. Once upon a time, there lived a poor woodcutter with his second wife near a large forest. He had a son named Hansel and a daughter named Gretel. His second wife was very cruel. The family had very little to live on, and once, where there was a drought in the forest, the woodcutter could no longer manage their daily lives. One night, the woodcutter said to his wife, "How can we feed our children when we have nothing to feed ourselves? There is only one thing to do. Tomorrow, we will take our children deep into the forest and leave them there alone. They would not be able to find their home, and so we will be free of them." "No," said the husband. "I could not do that to my children, because wild animals would soon eat them. If you will not do so, then all of us will die." This made the woodcutter sad, but finally he agreed. The children could no longer sleep due to the hunger, and they heard what their stepmother said to their father. Gretel began to weep bitterly, but Hansel said, "Be quiet, Gretel. I had thought of a plan to save us." When the parents went off to sleep, Hansel got up and went out of the house. He collected some white pebbles and put them into his pocket, and then he went to bed again. The next morning, their mother gave them each a crust of bread for lunch for them to eat. As they walked, Hansel dropped pebbles so he and his sister could find their way back home. At last, they reached the deep forest. "Now, children, pick up some wood. I want you to make fire for us to warm." The children gathered some wood and made a fire. They sat near the fire. "Stay here," said the mother. "We are going to look for some more wood for the fire, and we will come back very, very soon." After some time, the fire died, and it was time for lunch. So the children ate their bread pieces. Now, they were feeling tired. They heard the blows of an axe and thought that it was their parents. But it wasn't. When they woke up, it was midnight, and they soon fast asleep. Their parents did not come, and Gretel cried with fear. But Hansel told her, "Don't worry, because we will reach home before sunrise." He held his sister's hand and followed the pebbles. Hansel and Gretel walked on and reached their home. Hansel knocked at the door, and the stepmother answered it. She was astonished to see the children on the doorstep. "Oh, children, where are you? We searched for you here and there, but failed to find you. We thought you were lost and you would never come back." "I am very happy to see you," the stepmother pretended. The woodcutter, in fact, was very happy. Once again, the stepmother thought of getting rid of them. At night, when the woodcutter was lying in his bed, she said, "Dear husband, tomorrow we will go even deeper into the forest, and then the children will never be able to find their way back home." The children again heard all of their stepmother said to their father. But this time, Hansel could not collect pebbles because his stepmother had locked the door. The next morning, once again, she gave them each of a piece of bread, and they all walked deep into the forest. On the way, Hansel dropped breadcrumbs on the ground. When they reached deep into the forest, the parents said to the children to sleep till they came back in the evening. The children were tired, so they soon fell asleep. The evening passed, but no one came to take the poor children. When they woke up, it was quite dark. "Wait a bit, Gretel, till the moon rises. Then we will follow the crumbs, and that is how we will find our way back home." With the rise of the moon, they started to follow the breadcrumbs. But they found out that there were no breadcrumbs anymore because the birds had eaten them. Hansel and Gretel walked all night and the next day, but they could not find the way to their home. The poor children were very tired because they had nothing to eat since that morning. When they woke up, it was a brighter day. They started to walk again and went deeper and deeper into the forest. At last, they came to a beautiful house which is made of bread and cakes. The children were so hungry that they could not stop themselves and broke off pieces of bread and cakes, and then they went on eating. Then the door opened, and a little old woman who was really a witch came hobbling out. She shook her head and said, "Ah, you poor children, you are hungry." She invited the children inside the house where a nice dinner was ready for them. After the meal, the children fell asleep. The witch carried Hansel to a little stable where she shut him behind the door and went to sleep. She planned to keep him there until he grew fat enough. The old woman got early in the morning and said to Gretel to do all the houseworks. The old woman visited Hansel every day and felt how fat he was by touching his finger. Every minute, Hansel stuck out a little bone, and the witch, whose eyes were weak, could see proper and thought it was Hansel's finger. The wicked witch lost her patience and decided she would eat Hansel anyway. The witch asked Gretel, "Little lazy bone, open the oven door and make a fire on which I will roast your brother." Gretel began to cry bitterly, but she obeyed the witch. She bent over and opened the oven door. She prayed to God for help. When the witch bent over to see whether the fire was hot, Gretel told the witch,